Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher. And for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. So we're here to do a reaction, and we're diving back into the love you give me. We're diving into episode 18, I believe. Yes, episode 18. And yeah, episode 17, Minhui was able to find someone to corroborate her story about what happened to Sutian and cleared her name and kind of made amends with Jejun. And it seemed as though they were potentially, she was potentially in a good place or heading towards a good place. I won't say she was in a good place yet. With Jean C. He ran after her because obviously he loves her, and this was just a very unfortunate series of events that happened at a very unfortunate time right before he was ready to confess his love. So I don't know. We just have to wait and see where things are going to take us. So let's just dive in and find out. Okay, so highlights of this episode. Hardy is back. We love Hardy. I've been asking for him for a couple episodes now. I love him. He's adorable. Now what I need, that he is back, I need more time with Hardy and Chen Chen. I need more of that friendship. And you know, we can throw Dr. Zhao's potential future girlfriend into the mix too, because I feel like that would be a fun little trio. I'd love to see that happen. But yes, the majority of the episode is this sort of back and forth between Minhui's relationship with Jinxi and Miss Cao's relationship with Jejun, and just the men trying to get back into the good graces of the women. And they formed this alliance. We will see whether it is a good alliance or an unholy alliance in the next couple episodes. But they formed this alliance to try and, you know, be each other's undercover wingman. So like Minhui will talk to Jejun, so he will try and put some sort of, you know, bug in her ear, good word, you know, hey, blah, 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 and, you know, try and coach him. And Miss Cao will still talk to Jinxi, so like, okay, you can do the same for me. How well is that going to work out? I don't know. It didn't seem to be working out too well from the start, because everything that Jejun was telling Jinxi that he should do, because that's what Miss Cao described, no woman can resist this, that, and the other. It's like, those are things that I can 100% see working on Miss Cao. Because as we've seen throughout the early parts of her, you know, courting with Jejun, she likes kind of a spectacle of things. She likes, you know, her men to put in the effort and make this big deal about, you know, be my girlfriend, you know, this big public display of affection. Like, she loves that. So you flooding her office with flowers and sending her gifts and whatnot, that would probably work amazingly on Miss Cao. She would probably melt like a candle. Just yes. But Minhui, I don't know that that's necessarily the approach that would work for Minhui. So obviously the flowers did not work because she couldn't stand to be in her office. And then she'd respond to the gifts and the cards that he would, and she'd just be like, oh, girls, So I don't know that that's necessarily the approach for her. Maybe, I don't, again, Hardy was also trying to assist because he read whatever book, the Pampered Husband of the Female Executive, or whatever the title was. It's like, you know, maybe you need to be a little bit more clingy and this, that, the other. And it's like, I don't know. Again, I don't know if that's necessarily the approach that's gonna wear down Minhui. Not that we want to wear her down. Like, that's a terrible way to start a relationship. Like, okay, I guess I'm just broken down, I'll be in a relationship. No, that's not what we want. But I don't know if that's the way to try to convince her to, you know, give you another chance. Because, like, I know I would find the super clingy person terribly irritating, and I would not want to continue to be acquainted with them. Speaking from experience, don't like it. Like, there's a fine line between being cute and like showing that you're trying and whatnot, and being up my ass 24/7 and getting on my damn nerves. So we don't want to cross into that territory. I don't know that that's the approach that Min Hui would enjoy either. Honestly, I feel like the two men are overlooking the valuable resource they have in Chen Chen. Like, yes, not all of Chen Chen's advice is going to work, because he's like, whenever she's mad at me, I just look at her really cutely and, you know, she'll get over it. And it's like, yeah, that works for you because you're an adorable little man. But Shinsi is an adorable big man, and it's not quite as effective. Granted, it would work for me because that man is fine as hell. And but so yes, all of his advice won't necessarily work, but he is a very valuable resource. Like he says, he's grown up with both of them his entire life. He knows them extremely well, even if he doesn't know them in the romantic sense. Like, I don't know what they like to do on dates, or, you know, what they like this, that, the other. He knows their personalities. He knows, because there are times when adults, they're around children. Like, yes, they try to maintain a certain level of appearance around kids. Like, oh, kids don't need to know about this type of topic or this type of topic. They don't need to know about the details of our adult conversations, this, that, and the other. But there's still times when you're around kids and you're just kind of carefree, and you don't really have that filter up all the time. So sometimes you might say something and the kid will be around like, oh, what's that mean? And you're like, oh, nothing, that, don't worry about that, blah, 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 blah. But you still speak openly and freely because you think like the kid won't understand, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of kids are just sponges and they just soak it in. So I 100%, like, Chen Chen has proven time and time again throughout this series, he is a sponge and he will just soak in whatever is happening around him. So he has soaked in 5+ years of these two women and their shenanigans and their relationship, their dynamic with one another. So he is a very valuable resource, and in the right hands, like in the right adult hands, like we could figure out, we should be able to like take whatever information he gives us and synthesize like some sort of approach into how to at least get our respective women to converse with us. So we'll see where those shenanigans lead, but we did have Jinxie stepping in on that meeting there towards the end, and I think that helped a little bit. Not, you know, it's not a fix-all, but I hate that he needed to be there in order for some of those suggestions that Min Hui was making to get the okay or get the approval, whatnot, because like she's making very valuable suggestions based off of experience, based off of her time in the field, based off of this, that, and the other, making very valuable recommendations. But the director and the other director, whose name I can't, so like the main boss and then the other director, the male director, they've still got this sort of this is a boys only club kind of relationship dynamic going on between the two of them. And, you know, we can't trust these women, and the women keep proving time and time again, hey, I'm a boss. I'm a boss. I'm a boss. Here are my accolades, blah, 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 blah. You keep not trusting me, and then I keep proving you wrong. So, so I hate that Jinxie needed to be there in order to get those sort of ideas approved and kind of greenlight that process. But I'm glad that, I hate that he had to be there, but I'm glad that he was there so that those things could happen. Otherwise it would have been this back and forth battle, and who knows where that would have went. So I like that he was there so we could have just like shorthanded that whole potential argument back and forth between the men on the team and the women on the team, and oh, you know, women are just emotional, and oh god, like I just want to slap him. And I like how Jinxie, like, he wasn't just there like agreeing with Min Hui and just like, yes, everything she says, like trying to win favor with her. Like, he was making some valid points in his arguments too while supporting Min Hui. So when he's like, well, this other director here, he's not part of this project, so why is he here? And the boss is like, oh, well, I asked him here so he to help. And Larry's like, help with what? Make things worse? And Regine C pointed out, well, you're sitting here talking about how you're worried about confidentiality or this, that, the other, and why you don't want to potentially bring in other people to help with this, even though it would shorten the amount of time that would be needed to work on this project. But right now, you're not practicing that within the core confines of this project, because this man got absolutely nothing to do with this project. He is contributing in absolutely no way, shape, or form. Why the hell is he at this table? That's like, preach. And I just love seeing assholes being taken down a peg. Let's see what else happened. Zhao started to realize, well, he even mentioned it there, that he started to realize what baby girl was telling him last episode about him being the second male lead in the series, because he'll always be her best friend and she won't see him as anything other than that. And it seemed as though he was finally coming to that point of realization where it's like, okay, it's not that she stopped liking someone because she had to worry about her son, this, that, the other. It's just that she does not like me. And that's a tough realization to come to. I've had to make. If you've been with me through a number of series, I've said a number of times over, I've had to make that realization. I've been in that position before. It sucks, but sometimes you just have to reach that point of realization. And for every person, it's different how long they have to be in this situation, how much it needs to be thrown in their face before it becomes like crystal clear to them. But you have to come to that realization before you can like truly start to move on and let go. And I know there have been a couple instances for me where it's like I've needed to say those words to whoever it was that I had the crush on and be like, hey, just want to let you know this is how I feel. I'm not trying to change anything between the dynamic of our relationship. I doubt that you feel that way, or whatever it is, but I just want to let you know so that I can get it out of me and move on. Because sometimes just being able to say it out loud and putting everything out there, it just frees up that question mark in your head of like, what if? Like, what if I said this and they felt the same way? Or what if I said this and they didn't feel? Like, just getting that question mark out of your mind and then having the other person be like, oh yes, I feel the same way. I would love to give you a chance, or actually I just see you as a friend, blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever the outcome, having that definitive final answer in your brain is, for me, something that I've needed to just let those feelings go and move on past. Because like then I have the confirmation. I'm not living in this limbo of, hey, potentially it could happen if I'm patient and I'm nice and I treat them well and this, that, the other. Like, no, just get that definitive answer, yes or no, and like, okay, let it out, move on, and just, we can still remain friends if we need to remain friends, or if not, whatever. But so everyone's different, but for me, like personal experience, sometimes I've needed to just get those actual words out to the person so I can move on with life. So it seemed as though Xiao was reaching that point of like, okay, I think I may need to give up on Minhui. And baby girl was like, no, that's not the man that I know. I need you to be brave and strong and this, that, and the other. And he's like, you want me to confess my feelings, sir? And she's like, well, obviously I don't want you guys to get together, but I don't want you to be living with regrets either, living in this whole what if scenario. So like, at the end of the day, she's showing that I care about you. Yes, I would love to be with you, but I care about you. And I don't want to be in a relationship with you if your heart is still going to be over here. So you deal with what you got to deal with, and we'll cross whatever bridge we need to cross after. And I think it's a very mature suggestion of her, very selfless. And I think that Zhao was starting to really see how mature and just wise and just good-natured she is. So I think he's starting, the last few episodes he's been starting to see her in a slightly different light, and I think that conversation right there really is what is flipping the switch in his mind, like, wow, she's actually incredible. She's actually pretty amazing. But he still needs to deal with this whole Minwei thing. So there may be another conversation on the horizon between Minwei and Daddy Zhao, in which he confesses his feelings and she turns him down. We almost had that conversation, like, I don't know, 7-8 episodes ago, and Minwei was just kind of like circumventing, cutting it off, like, oh, no, change the subject, and so we'll have to see what happens with that. Is there anything else? I think those are the major talking points of this episode. Yeah. So we'll just have to see where the next one takes us. But I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, be sure to leave it down in the comments. I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you're more than welcome to join us over on Patreon. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. And I will see you guys in my next video. Love ya. Mwah.
Stranded here, stranded here, stranded. Stranded here, stranded here, stranded. There was a time we had it all. The darkness took over, and we started to fall. Hey, the feelings I had for you, they never left. And now I'm standing here stranded, lost with no vision of how we used to be. Standing here, stranded. Standing here, stranded. Ooh, yeah. I was drowning, suffocating. When you pulled me out for air, I was running through the fire in the mountains that I see. Can't breathe without you. It's hard to see without you. Can't breathe without you. I can't live. No, I can't live. No, I can't live without you. It's hard to see without you. Can't breathe without you. I can't live. No, I can't live. No, I can't live without you. Now we're together.